Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. It's Wicked here, and it's our Digital Wednesday. Yeah, kind of been on a Sonic kick this week. So I do classic Sonic on Tuesday, but I wanted to draw my favorite, even though don't get me wrong, I love Sonic to death, but I wanted to draw my favorite of the more newer characters in the last 12 years or so, Shadow the Hedgehog. Um, so basically what I'm doing, I just started a new layer. I have like kind of a gray background, and I am just sketching out shadow first. So the reason why I like doing this when I'm working digitally is, and if you're following kind of along with this a little bit, you can use the same method on paper. The only problem is you have to go back and kind of erase, what you've done, and it can kind of leave marks and stuff on the paper. So at least with digital, I can just create a whole separate layer, and then I don't have to worry too much about when I want to go in and refine the line work of erasing all the sketchiness out. So that's all I'm doing right now is just kind of sketching, staying really loose. I'm not really caring if it looks scribbly or scrabbly. I am just really trying to just knock out, basic things in there and not really worry about too much details. So when I do things like the arms, the eyes, the nose, stuff like that, I can overlap them. You can see I'm just kind of drawing over the face and not putting too much detail in there, just enough to have a foundation of where things are. And then I just simply go in and make a new layer, and I just call that lines just because it's refined. And then I turn the opacity down on the sketch layer. So what that allows me to do is to come back and literally just trace what I just sketched out. So I can, change my brush size to whatever I want. If I want to have thick lines, thin lines, change line weights, I can now do that on this layer. So the whole point of this line layer is now is the point where I'm going to go in and add, it's a Sonic character, so it's not super detailed, but just add extra things in there, like maybe the roundness of the rings around the wrist and the shoes. Any little details that I didn't draw in the sketch that I want to get in there, to really highlight lines or edges and things like that. But the real basic part of this is to have a refined image that looks nice and clean with straight lines, and that's what working digitally kind of allows you to do, is to just kind of go in and not have to spend time erasing and drawing. I can just make a whole separate layer and just trace over what I've done and make my life 10 times easier getting it done that way. So I'm just going around, like you can even see here where I kind of just drew in that triangle, part on the face. Now I can just go in and draw the hair from his chest, and then I can go around the nose shape and draw it in, and then it'll all be solid. So what you'll see is when I'm done, like even around the eyes, he's got that little kind of red portion that's kind of highlighted up on. It kind of makes him have that kind of permanent angry look on his face. Again, it allows me to add that without messing up the original sketch too. So if there's something I don't like, I can erase it and kind of go back over that area as much as needed, and pick and choose certain parts. Like I know he's got the red lines in his hair, so pick and choose different places to go in and add that detail in. That is the whole point of this stage here. So as you can see right now, I'm adding in the red parts on his hair and the part on the front of his head, and then I kind of forgot to go down and do the shoe, so I went down and did his rocket boots um, to finish that up. So once you have that established, the next step is pretty easy. You're just going to create a new layer, just call that color. Go to your line layer, and you just turn off your sketch layer, or you can delete it if you want. But I picked the magic wand tool, get all the spaces in between, select inverse, go down to the color layer, and click the little mask button down there. And now it allows me to paint in without going outside the lines at all. Now initially I chose, well, he's got a black fur coat, but I figured it was a little too black. So you'll see in a minute when I'm done kind of filling in a certain amount. I notice it's like I'm not going to really be able to put any shadows and details in there. So what I decided to do was just kind of finish filling in the hair. Then I went back down into the black and I kind of moved it up to more of a like a grayish tone. So it's more of like maybe a charcoal black, but it allows it to stand out more. And then that way you can see when I filled in the nose black, that sticks out. And then it's just basically just going through and just adding in all of my base colors. There's no fancy shading. You just literally use it like a coloring book and you fill in those areas that are required. So the red shoes and the trim on the boots, as well as the gold for the rocket parts and the rings. And then I really think the only white parts are on the front of the boots, the gloves, like where the palm of the hand is itself, the tuft of hair on the chest, and then I just used a basic peachy kind of skin tone. I was trying to match it, best I could, because it's kind of like a pinkish, peachish yellow. It was really hard to kind of pick out, and I didn't really want to use the color picker on a separate image. I just wanted to kind of try to figure it out myself. And so yeah, you can see I can just go in and I fill in all the gold. And then what I'm gonna do is just finish out with the white on there. And again, that's why you can see why now I have the gray background. It just makes it easier for me to go in and see the white that's being filled in to make sure it's being filled in all the way. I mean, you can have a white canvas in the background. I just personally find it easier to have a dark gray or a light mid-tone gray, just as long as you're careful, because sometimes when you pick a character to draw, if they have a lot of grays and stuff in their outfit, then that can present a problem or a challenge when trying to color something in white or color that thing in gray. So you just adjust that gray based off of what you have. So basically what I did was I just had a new layer above the color layer. I just called it shadows. No pun intended on that. I know his name is Shadow, but I put shadows plural. I set it to 50%. And then what I did was I clicked on the mask on the color layer and just hit command and clicked on it. And then I just added that exact same mask to the shadow layer. So now I have it set at 50%. And what that does, it kind of colors over the top with a light tone for our shadows. Now, shadows, I'm just being kind of not 100% true to life on. Like I said, anybody who's watched my channel and my videos before, I kind of choose things based off of whether or not it looks cool more than I do for lighting accuracy. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of personal preference for me. But you can still go in and kind of think about how light would hit certain areas. Like you can see, I'm kind of rounding and curving things to kind of fit and form to the body itself. I mean, picking different areas too where there's like maybe some overlap and stuff like that to really see where it is that you want these shadows to go. And you can see now that I'm adding that shadow in on the black area of the fur and the skin, it's now showing a difference in color. So if I'd have left that old black color, you really wouldn't have seen too much of a difference in it. And that was the main reason why I decided to change that. So I'm just kind of going around with the hands. The gloves give kind of more of a harsher shadow tone, and that's fine. I was contemplating whether to put a Chaos Emerald in his hand like he was using Chaos Control, but I decided against it. I just figured a normal pose would just be fine with him just kind of standing there. Um, Once I got done with the shadows, you can see me kind of finishing up. I got the hair part filled in, but then I just kind of went to the basic shadowing of, picking an angle and selecting that whole area and doing that. But once I got done with that, the last thing I really just needed to do was just kind of highlight Shadow and have him have some reflective kind of glares and stuff on him. So really what you're going to do on that is you're just going to, and you'll see me do it here in a minute, but you're just going to add a new layer, just call it lights. Put that same mask on there, and then I just picked white. Now you can choose to kind of put a 50% and it'll kind of blend in with the colors more, but I wanted more of a harsh reflective white on there. And then once you get all that on there, you'll see that I just used a simple gradient tool and just kind of had it go from red to black to just kind of fit Shadow's theme and color. And it was really just as simple as that. So nothing too fancy today. Going in and add those highlights, and like I said, we'll finish with that background. But other than that, I hope you all learned something. Do me a favor, if you're new to the channel and you like what you saw and you want to see more, leave a comment, subscribe, leave a like. Let me know how I'm doing, or let me know what else you want to see. I mean, other than that, I really appreciate everyone who is subscribed or anybody new. I always love teaching to draw, so leave me a comment on what you want to see. And other than that, remember to keep on sketching, and I will love to see you in the next one. Other than that, take care of yourself and have a wonderful day. Bye.